Hi friends, thank you so much for joining in today's tutorial. Today we'll be looking into how to make men's shirt. So here is the fabric we are going to use to carry out this task. So to determine the actual material you are going to fold, you calculate using the bust measurement, or the chest measurement. So for my client, the bust measurement is 25. So 25 divided by 4, I have 10 1/4 inches. So let's just consider it as 10.5. So I went ahead and added 2 extra inches for blanket allowance. That's where the button is going to rest. An additional 2 inches for seam allowance. So I've went ahead and I've mapped out the 2 inches for the blanket. That is blanket allowance. And went ahead and gave it a press. So it's always important to iron out while carrying out this task. So I went ahead and folded in my 2 inches allowance that I've mapped out, and at the same time notched for the blanket. So I went ahead and ironed it out. So that's that. So here with me I have the front, because button is always in the front, and here also is the back. So the only difference between the front and the back is just at the back is always higher in length. The back is always higher in length. So now the full length of this shirt is 22 inches. So 22, I went ahead and added 2 extra inches for seam allowance, hemming at the lower area. So I went ahead and mapped out the shoulder measurement, which is 6. It's 12 actually. 12 into 2 we have 6. So I shook it down 6 inches. So I came down for the shoulder slant 1 inch, which I will connect it to the neck. But for the neck line measurement, the width of my client is 2.5. That's for the front, while the depth is at the same 2.5. 2.5 inches for both the width and the depth. So I gave it a curve. So I went ahead and traced out the shoulder slant all the way to the armhole. So now for the armhole, to calculate the armhole, it's just the chest measurement, you divide it by 5. Or bust measurement divided by 5 plus 1. So for my client, the bust measurement is 25 divided by 5 plus 1, I have 6 inches. So the armhole there is 6 inches. Also, I went ahead and calculated the bust measurement and added 2 extra inches for seam allowance. So I connected it all the way to the shoulder. So that's that for the armhole. So now we have mapped out our bust measurement. What I'm going to do is I connected it all the way from the bust to the hem of the shirt. So here we have our front panel. So try and chuck it down to separate the back from the right side. That is the wrong side from the right side. So I went ahead and placed the front panel on top of the back panel. So the back panel is longer in length than the front panel by 4 inches. So from the shoulder area, or from the shoulder line rather, I came up, I traced out the armhole, all the way to the 4 inches I've mapped out. So from that shoulder line, I came up 4 inches. It could be 3 inches, 2.5, depending on how lengthy the person is. So for my client, I came up 4 inches. So from that shoulder, from the shoulder slant, I trace out 4 inches all the way up, just the way you see me do it. So that will be for the armhole. So I want to confirm the shoulder actually. It must not really have to be in slanty form. So I must be in this way, in a straight form, to confirm the actual shoulder measurement of the back. So I gave it a line, and it tallies with that of the armhole. So that's that. So what I did next is to cut it out. Let's see how it is actually. So now here is the extra 4 inches. So I went ahead and pressed it down to enable me to determine where the back neck will be. So what I did next was to trace out, using the front panel to trace out the width of the neck. And also I came down 1 inch for the back depth. So I cut it out. So here we have our back depth, that is the back neck, body width and the depth, and the armhole as well. So now at the lower area, or the hemi area, I came up by 1 inch, to give it a slanty curve or shape at that place. So I went ahead and curved it using my pattern master all the way to the center of the hem area. Then I cut it out. So that's that for both our front and the back panel. So for I'll now work on the front panel. I came in 1/2 inch for the armhole because the front armhole is always deeper. So I came down from the shoulder, making use of the half of the armhole, which is 3 inches. So I cut it out from there to meet the armhole. So that's that for the armhole. So now for the blanket. For the blanket, what I'm going to do is to cut out the excess, just the way you see me do. And also, I went ahead and cut out into 2. I cut the front panel into 2, so that it will enable us to create space for the button. That is for the buttonhole. That is, buttonhole will be in one side, while button will be in the other side. So I went ahead and folded in 1/2 inch all the way from top to the bottom, just the way you see me do. So after which, I'll go ahead and fold in 1 inch. So I'll give it a press. I'll iron it out. So I folded in 1 inch. All the way down. So that's that for our blanket. So I'll also do the same to the other side. I'll also do the same to the other side, just the same way I did on the first one. So that's that. I folded in 1 inch and gave it a hot press. So that's it for our blanket. So if you should shake it out, it's 1 inch, 1 inch. So this is the way we are going to place it, or the way it's going to rest on the front or rest on each shoulder. After I must have fixed in the button. So now I went ahead to work on the facing, the back facing. I folded the fabric into two and placed the back panel on it, or the back bodice, and trace out the neckline. So also the armhole. Depending on where you actually want your facing, the length of your facing to end. But for mine, I came down to 8 inches. Yes, it could be 7, 8, 9, depending on your preference. Yes, so I went ahead and placed it exactly on the right side, of the back bodice. This is the way I'm going to fold it. So I'll go ahead and fold it and stitch on the back bodice. So I've done that. I've stitched on the back bodice. Here it is. I did not close it at the shoulder area. Yes. So I went ahead and placed the front bodice, the two sides front bodice, on the back bodice. And I went ahead and fixed and ironed in 1 inch of our paper stay. 1 inch of paper stay in between the 1 inch of the blanket. Yes, just the way you see me do. I've ironed it out on both sides. So what I will do next is to hold it down with a pin, just the way it's going to settle on the button. So in fact, I went ahead and fastened it with pin. I pinned it down. Just the same way it's going to be on the button. Yeah, so I've done that. So what I did next was to close the shoulder area. Yes, so the facing at the back bodice, I folded it just the way you see me do. I flip it round just the way you see me do. Just watch what I'm doing to meet at the shoulder area of the front bodice. So I went ahead and hold it down with a pin. If this video has been helpful to you, please just click on that red button, subscribe. It's free, okay? Yeah, and click on notification bell as well, so that you'll be first to be notified each time I upload a new video. Thank you. So what I did next was to close it. I'll now stitch it all the way down. So I'll do the same on the other side. So I've closed the two shoulders. So this is the back, the wrong side. See how neat it is. So this is the front, or the right side of the fabric. So it always comes out beautiful if you should close the shoulders just this way. Yeah, so here we are. Here is the back bodice, or the wrong side. So I'll iron it out. Yes, I'll give it a hot press so it will look neater and better. So what I went ahead to do is to take out the actual armhole measurement, of which I measured out 9 inches. I also did the same on the other side. 9 inches on both sides. So what I will do next is to cut out the sleeve. So I went ahead and folded it into 4 folds because I actually want to have 2 sleeves at the same time. So I chalked out our starting point. So from the starting point, the actual sleeve length for my client is 8 inches. So I went ahead and added 2 extra inches for hemming. Yes, at the lower area. So I came down to 5 inches and mapped out 9 inches for the armhole, which we measured out earlier. So all the way from the starting point, gave it a S shape. Yes, for men's shirt, it must not really have to be deep. Yes, don't make it to be too deep. So I went ahead to confirm the actual armhole circumference. So at the lower area, that's for my sleeve, the round sleeve. So my client's round sleeve is 10 inches. I mapped out 5 inches and went ahead and added extra 1 inch for seaming allowance. So that's that for our sleeve. So here we are. See how our sleeve is. So I'll go ahead and give it a notch at the middle of the sleeve. Just notch it to enable you to determine where to start while stitching. So I went ahead and ironed it out. So that's that for our sleeve. So right now I've placed our shirt, taking note of both sides. So I went ahead and fastened it, hold it down with pin, and notched where the back and the front join together. Yes, the 4 extra inches that we mapped out for at the back. So for the sleeve that we have cut out, this is how I'm going to hold it down or fasten it to the armhole. So remember, I notched it at the sleeve area and also at the armhole area. So at that point where the two meet, where we gave a notch, so we hold it down starting from that point and stitch it all the way round for the two sleeve. So now for the placket, I'll go ahead and close it and run a stitch all the way from the top to the bottom of the shirt. So I did the same also in the other side and cut off the excess at the neck area. So I'll go ahead and take the total or the round circumference of our neck for the collar. For the collar, I have a detailed video on how to make our shirt collar. So you go and check it out. So here I've cut out already the collar stand and also the collar itself. For the collar, I did 2.5 inches, while for the collar stand is 1 inch. So I went ahead and because I've notched it already at the center. So I'll fasten it with a pin, hold it down with a pin at the both center and stitch. So here I'm putting in a collar stand, just the way you see me doing it. Using pin is very, very essential in carrying out this kind of task. So it will help your, your stitching to be smooth and steady. So I fastened it with a pin all the way from one end to the other, after which I'm going to stitch. I'll stitch on it around just the way my hand, you see me doing it from one end to the other. So right now, see how it is. I've stitched it all the way around. So what next I'm about to do is to notch the center of the neck. So I'll give it a notch. So at the point where I notched, both on the neck and that of the collar, I will hold it down, making sure the two notches meet. So starting from the right side of the shirt, so I'll hold it down just the way you see me do. I'll fasten it with a pin all the way around the neck. So I'm doing on one side, after which I will do the other side. So after fastening with pin, I'm going to stitch it. So I'll stitch it and I'll use the other band to close it up. So here I am on the sewing machine, just trying to demonstrate what I just said. So right now, I've notched it and I want to close it using one band. So here it is, I've done that. Yes, this is the right side. So I'll flip now, just the way you see me doing it. I cut out the rough edges, then I'll use the other end of the band to close it, to close the rough edges, and now stitch on it. So closing it in the sense that I'm closing it on the back. Here is the back, while the other side is the front or the right side of the shirt. So here it is. I've done that already. See how neat it is. So what I will do next is to take our body measurements. So remember I said our bust is 25 inches for my client. So I will go ahead and divide it into two. So I took down the actual measurement. And remember we added 1 inch on both sides for our seam allowance, that is 2 inches. So on both sides I took out 1 inch on both sides and now stitch it all the way down. So from the bottom to the top I came up rather 4 inches, 4 inches from bottom to the up, just for ease, for free or easy movement. I top stitched. So I'll do the same in the other side. So here is our shirt. I've stitched it out already. So what next I'm about to do is to insert our sleeve. So I took the round circumference of our armhole, so I'll use it to take out the actual measurement of our sleeve, and that's what I'm doing. So for the round circumference is 10 into 2, we have 5 inches. So I went ahead and added 1 inch at the lower sleeve. I connected it and also did the same on the other sleeve. So what I will do next is to close, just the way you see me doing, close the sides of the opening, Also we'll close it using 1/2 inch. I'll do on the other side and now close the lower or the hem area. Yes, so I'll close, remember we used 2 inches, I'll close it using 2 inches all the way around. So I'll do this and show us the final look of our shirt. So here it is. So thank you so much for staying with me to this end. Yeah, please subscribe, okay? Click on that red button